Hey, house guests! Welcome to today's Big Brother 24 updates and spoilers. It's the early edition today. Thank you so much for being here. Our house guests of the day are Dana Faircloth and Al Joritz. Thank you both so much for the support. We could not do this without you, and we appreciate it so much. So thank you again. And if you guys want to be house guests of the day, check out our Patreon link in the info box below. It's only $1 for a holla. Yay! And before we get started, I also want to thank yesterday's super chatters because that's a fantastic way to support our channel. So Norm the Cat, Sarah Nichols, Shane Wright, Sean Davis, and Dane Thomas. Thank you all so much for your super chats yesterday. My goodness, I thought we were going to have an easy morning today, but things got complicated. We'll get there in a minute. But when we left off yesterday, Monty is the HOH. He was planning to put Alyssa and Brittany up on the block, and he let both of them know during their one-on-one conversations, and they both took it well. I mean, what are they going to say? No? So Monty does not have a set target. He kept emphasizing in all of his one-on-one chats that he wants to see what happens this week, see who wins the power veto, see who puts a target on themselves, because it seems like every week somebody steps up and does something to make themselves a target, right? These opportunities keep popping up and presenting themselves. So he wants to see what happens. But Monty was also asking everyone during his one-on-ones to be his eyes and ears this week. He wants to know if anyone is talking about targeting him next week or anything like that, because if he hears that, he's going to be making some moves this week, and a lot will depend on what he hears. So it's interesting because he also told Turner that he would be willing to take out Taylor if he hears that Taylor is dropping his name. And on the flip side, he told Taylor that, okay, if he wins the power veto, he'd probably leave the nominations the same. But if Taylor were to win the veto and save Brittany, Monty would have no choice but to put Turner up on the block, right? There wouldn't be any other possible options. And then the vote would be in Taylor and Brittany's hands, and I guess they'd be voting Turner out, right? Oh, wink. So Monty is like, oh no, what if that happens? He's telling Taylor, honestly, it would be best case scenario for both of them if that were to happen. So Monty definitely seems to be playing the middle right now between Turner and Taylor. It's not clear at the time who he's the most loyal to. I mean, now it kind of is, but we'll get there. But he says he is keeping his options open this week. So yesterday they did have the nomination ceremony, and as planned, Monty put Brittany and Alyssa up on the block. So after the ceremony, Brittany touches base with Monty. She's telling him, I totally understand. Of course, there's no surprise here because they already talked about it. But Brittany's asking, is there anything that I can clear up for you? Because as we know, a lot of information came out we know that a lot of information came out all last week, right? Everybody was talking about Brittany and what she was saying to everyone. But she only knows what Michael said in his eviction speech. So she wants to clear up some stuff. So Monty's like, all right, well, let's talk about the now infamous late night, early morning conversation between Brittany and Turner. I'm talking about the one where Brittany was trying to make a final two with Turner. So Monty says, obviously I've heard about the final two with Turner. I heard that you were talking about me and Taylor being close. You were talking about an all-girls alliance, talking about Alyssa approaching you for a final two alliance. So, tell me about this stuff. So Brittany says, well, Alyssa absolutely approached me for a final two, which is true. I think Alyssa was the one to initiate that. It's harder to tell with this one, but I thought it was Alyssa. So I know for sure Alyssa came up with the name because Brittany says Alyssa wanted to call it Full Circle. We just saw that the other day. And Brittany's like, I didn't take it seriously. I didn't initiate that. So of course I'm going to say yes, but Brittany is saying she has been loyal to the Brochella Final Four this whole time. So Brittany says, honestly, she regrets that conversation with Turner. It was very early in the morning. A lot of things were probably misconstrued by Turner. And she says, I thought most of the conversation was like a joke. We were just looking at the memory wall and being like, oh, I'm not going to get this person's vote. I'm not going to beat this person, blah, blah, blah. Just, messing around. If that got misconstrued as me offering a final 2 to Turner, that was not my intention. Oh my God, Brittany, come on. So she says, Turner and I have never lined up in this game. It just makes zero sense that I would be trying to set up a final 2 with him. So Brittany says, I don't see a future for me and Turner together in this game. Could you imagine if Turner and Brittany somehow did end up in the final 2 together? It'd be hilarious. But anyway, excuse me. Brittany says if she goes this week, it will be 2 versus 2 the following week. Taylor and Monty on one side, and Alyssa and Turner on the other. But Brittany says, if Alyssa goes this week, I can be a number for you. It could be me, you, and Taylor against Turner. We can go to the final 3 together. So Monty is all, I'm hands off this week. I'm just observing. I want to see what people do. I want the week to just play out how it plays out. And he lets Brittany know, I'm not making any decisions right now on who the target is. Okay, so a little later, Monty and Alyssa have their chat in the HOH room, and we didn't get to see the beginning of this conversation, but we come in on Alyssa talking about giving Brittany so many chances to be honest with her, but Brittany just continues to lie, and Alyssa says, I don't understand the strategic gameplay. I will say Brittany has been lying about a lot of stuff, but Alyssa is also playing up her I'm innocent act. I don't know anything, when Alyssa is not innocent here. So Alyssa says, I'm willing to answer any questions that you have, just like what Brittany was saying. And she says, I feel really good with you and Turner, and I want to be as, completely honest and transparent with you guys as I can. So Monty is like, all right, well, tell me about this girls' alliance, because I'm hearing all sorts of different things about it. He's like, I don't care that this was or wasn't a thing. It's not about that. But he says, I would like to know what the deal is. I like transparency. So Brittany is telling me that you're the one that proposed the alliance with her and Taylor. From what I remember, it was Alyssa trying to make that girls' alliance happen for sure. So Monty says, it just wouldn't make sense to me because I know that you're close with Turner. And if you were the one that started the girls' alliance, that would imply that you'd have to get rid of Turner at some point. So tell me about, what's going on here? So Alyssa's like, all right, this is what happened. Brittany was saying, it was me, Brittany, and Taylor hanging out. And Brittany was saying how crazy it was that all 3 of us were still there when we were all in danger week 1. So Alyssa's like, I said that it's important that we all look out for each other since women don't naturally make it as far in the game. That sounds an awful lot like Alyssa proposing the alliance. We should all watch out for each other. I mean, come on. But Alyssa says that was the extent of it. I never said that I wanted to lock in that group as my final 3. And Alyssa says Brittany has proven to me over and over again that she doesn't have anyone else's best interest in mind. I mean, at this point in the game, come on. So Alyssa says, I never wanted to lock down, let's get rid of all the guys. I mean, I definitely remember Alyssa saying that she would never put the girls up on the block. Obviously, she's not going to admit that to Monty, but it's a lot. So Alyssa's saying again, I said that the girls should look out for each other, but that was the extent of it. So Monty says, okay, cool. I respect that. I have nothing against it. All right. So a little later, Alyssa checks in with Taylor, and Alyssa says, Brittany is still trying to throw us under the bus with the all girls thing. Just so you know, I have your back, and I hope you have mine too. So Alyssa tells Taylor all about the conversation with Monty, and she's like, all I said to Monty was that the girls needed to look out for each other, and that's as far as it went. And he also asked me if you had any input in that girls' alliance situation, and I said no, which is true. Taylor was pretty much just sitting there like, So then Monty comes in. He breaks up that conversation. All right. Later, Brittany is monologuing to the cameras in the Jetsons' bedroom, and I'm going to give you some highlights. So she says yesterday, meaning Thursday, was really tough. And I just want to note she's wiping her tears away with a full-size bath towel. That's a big tissue. But anyway, she says she's feeling lonely, confused, and betrayed, but mostly lonely at this point. She says yesterday was pretty much worst case scenario. She says, I know it's probably confusing because I keep telling people that it was good, that Michael left, but it wasn't good. It was worst case for me. I mean, I think it'd be worse if she was evicted herself, but I guess she means a worst case, not counting if she was evicted. So Brittany says, like, no, it doesn't make sense, but I did really want to go to the end with Michael. And he probably didn't fully know how much I meant that. And then she's like, I guess he was going to do anything that he could to stay. Duh. Do you expect him to just walk out? Like, what? So she says, even if that meant exposing things that I did to help him and yourself. You did a lot of, how much good did it do Michael for you to go around to everyone in the house saying, like, Michael's got to go. No one can sit next to Michael. And, like, Brittany making all those final twos with everyone. I don't think that was for Michael's game. But anyway, Brittany says she does genuinely think that Michael is a real friend. It was not just game. And she's like, I really wanted to make friends. I should have just stayed home and joined a club or a happy hour. And she advises future house guests, don't come to Big Brother to make friends. This is not the place for that. I feel like she's one of the few people on a reality show where they're like, I came here to make friends. Because usually you hear, like, I'm not here to make any friends. Like, I'm here to win the money. But, I mean, she's here to win the money, too. So, Brittany says, everyone who's here, other than Alyssa, is here because of Michael. Myself included. Michael protected everyone, and they did not protect him. And she says, it's Big Brother. She gets it. She doesn't fault them for taking the shot at Michael. I mean, let's be real. Would anyone else have a chance to win against Michael in the end? No. So, she says she tried to warn Michael, and he didn't listen. All right, so then Brittany is talking about why she wants to win or get second place or America's Favorite Player. She doesn't feel like she's going to get America's Favorite Player, but she wants one of those big paychecks. She says she needs $40,000 to start her family, whether it's through, like, IVF or adoption. And she says that's why she's here. She promised her husband that she would bring home the money. That's very sweet. So you can kind of get more of an idea of why she's been, like, freaking out the last week, because she, once you hit, I think sixth place was the first prize where you get, like, more money tacked on. I think it was only $2,500 extra, but, like, it gets bigger and bigger each place that you move up. So, she's wanting to get that extra prize money, even if she doesn't win the whole thing. So Brittany is really hoping that she can win the power veto. And she also mentioned she's upset that Taylor isn't really hanging out with her because Taylor knows how much it sucks to be left out. And Brittany is just feeling, like, really lonely right now. Okay, so I have my issues with what Brittany is saying in some of that some of that monologue, but also, like, I do feel bad for her. So anyway, later, Monty and Taylor chat in the HOH room, and Monty is really trying to get to the bottom of this all girls thing. And Taylor lets him know, all right, this is what happened. Alyssa was the one who tried to unite the three girls. And Taylor's like, I was nodding along with it. Brittany was, of course, jumping on that chance to make another group. But Taylor says, I am locked in with Monty and Brittany for Final Three. So Monty says, this is interesting because Alyssa was trying to pin the Girls Alliance entirely on Brittany. And Taylor's like, all right, I think it's very clear that Alyssa pretty much has no game outside of Kyle. She spent all of her time with Kyle. And she says, I don't fault Alyssa for trying to start a Girls Alliance. That's all she could do at that point. But Brittany is trying to use that to throw me and Alyssa under the bus. And, like, she didn't have to do that. So Monty says, looking towards the future here, Brittany has a higher chance of winning competitions than Alyssa. But Monty's not sure who Brittany would put up on the block if she were to win HOH. He says Alyssa is way more beatable in competitions. Of course, everyone's afraid that she's got all these jury votes just waiting for her if she makes it to the end. And Monty would just be like really annoyed if Alyssa was able to just skate by again this week, right? If Brittany were the one to go. So Taylor wants to know, who would go up as the replacement nominee if Brittany or Alyssa win the power veto? That's a good question, right? So Monty says, that's the part that's gripping me. But I think the shot would have to be, he's implying that it would be Turner. So Monty's like, if Brittany takes herself down and Turner goes up, you and Brittany would be the ones voting. It just is what it is. So this is kind of a progression because the night before, Monty was all, Taylor, if you win the veto, then I'm going to be forced to put Turner up on the block, right? But now he's also saying, like, if Brittany were to win the veto and Monty has the choice between Taylor and Turner, he would put Turner up on the block. So Monty's saying he just hopes, like, if he does make that move, he would be safe the following week and the girls would not just, like, all gang up on him. So Taylor's like, yeah, of course, like, we can decide who we want to go to the final three with us, if it would be Brittany or Alyssa. So Monty is like, honestly, I don't really want to win this power veto. I don't want to have to make any moves. He says the ideal situation would be for Taylor or Brittany to win the POV and kind of like force him to have to make a renom. So Monty says, if nominations do stay the same this week, Brittany is making it very hard for him to be comfortable with her staying. He knows that Turner wants Alyssa to stay. Taylor wants Brittany to stay. Monty is in the middle here. But he's nervous that Brittany just keeps digging a hole for herself with the lying. Okay, so the rest of last night was pretty uneventful. But then, early this morning, they played the POV comp. I guess it would be considered like overnight. So Big Brother actually woke them up and they had to rush to get ready. I guess Big Brother told them they only had 2 minutes. And if you were not ready in time, you don't get to play. So everyone was playing in this comp except for Monty. He was not ready in time because he thought he had the time to pee, put in his contacts, but I guess he didn't make it. Dang, that freaking sucks to not get to play for the veto. That's not fair to contacts wearers. I'm sorry. You need the time to do that. But anyway, it was some sort of puzzle, and Brittany won the power of veto. Oh, dang. So apparently, too, she screamed, "That's for you, Michael," when she won. And everybody was really weirded out by it because they were like, I thought you were upset with Michael. Like, what's going on here? This is weird. But wow, that's a clutch win for her because there was a big chance that she would be leaving this week. So the feeds came back at 6:13 a.m. Big Brother time, and I'm seeing some worried looks on some of these house guest faces, but they're all congratulating Brittany on making it to the final four because she has now locked in her spot. So after the group breaks up, Turner and Alyssa are chatting alone in the kitchen, and Alyssa's like, F. And Turner's like, yikes. So Alyssa's asking, like, what do you think Monty's going to do? Is he going to put Taylor up on the block? And Turner's like, yeah, I think that Monty will put Taylor up. And obviously, I'm voting to keep you. I'm not sure what Brittany and Monty would do because there is the chance that it could be a tie this week and Monty would have to break it. So Turner says, Alyssa, you shouldn't have to worry. Like, you're way less of a threat than Taylor. So you should be fine. Okay. Meanwhile, Brittany and Taylor are chatting in the storage room and they hug. It's a little bit of a celebration. But then Taylor says to Brittany, you have really had me scared all week. And I think you know why. So these two have had a little bit of distance between them the last day or two. So Brittany says it was really hard when Michael left. Everyone was just like distancing themselves from me, and it wasn't a good feeling. So Taylor says, I feel like I needed to talk to you because I've been hearing that you've been throwing me under the bus. So Brittany's like, why didn't you bring that to me? It's obviously lies. We've been working together since the beginning. Why are you believing other people over me? So Taylor's like, we need to talk about this more in depth. We can't just do this like willy-nilly. So they move their conversation to the Judson's bedroom, and they're talking about all the info that has come out from the infamous Brittany and Turner late night, early morning conversation. And Brittany is denying everything hard. But like, she did say those things. We saw it. She said those things. So Brittany is like, Turner has put me on 3 times. Why would I say any of that stuff to him? Like, no way. I wouldn't want to go to the end with someone who's won HOH 3 times. And then she says, I don't even stay up late enough to talk to him. Like, I'm 32 years old. He's like 20, whatever. We have nothing in common. So she's trying to play it off like Turner is making up a whole ass conversation. What? So Brittany is also in this conversation trying to turn things around on Taylor. And she's telling Taylor, like, it's really messed up that you would believe Turner over me when we've been working together this whole time. And she's saying, you waited until after I won the power veto to mention this to me. The irony here is very strong. Okay, Brittany is confronting someone about their timing on sharing information. Are you really going to do that after the way that you mishandled the Kyle situation? Like, what? So anyway, it seems like they've cleared the air for now, and I think this was partially out of necessity because Taylor is nervous that she's going to be going up on the block potentially as the replacement nominee. So she's like telling Brittany, you may have been right. Like, maybe Monty and Turner are closer than we thought. Maybe I'm going to be going up instead of Turner. So Brittany is saying we really need to push that we want to go to the final 3 with Monty. We need to make sure that you stay off the block, because if you go up there, Brittany just has her 1 vote. Like, there's not much else that she can do. So they're like making up. Okay. Meanwhile, Monty and Turner are chatting in the HOH room, and very quickly, Monty lets Turner know there is no way, not as a person, not as a human being, there is no way that he's putting Turner up on the block. Well, that's not what he said to Taylor. So Monty says he just doesn't trust the girls to keep Turner if he goes up on the block next to Alyssa, and he tells Turner, if you're gone, I'm effed next week. You know, those girls are going to take me out. I guess Monty had a change of heart. So anyway, they're going through the pros and cons of Taylor versus Alyssa because Monty's saying he's going to put Taylor up. And as expected, of course, Taylor is pushing for Alyssa to stay and for Taylor to go because he says, I can wipe the floor with Alyssa and Brittany if next week's HOH is a physical comp. And Monty's like, yeah, I just really don't want Taylor to leave on my HOH. She would be pissed at me. I would lose her jury vote. So Monty is trying to convince Turner to keep Taylor over Alyssa. I'm sure Monty also doesn't want Alyssa to stay because she's super tight with Turner, right? She's going to pick Turner over Monty every time. So Monty is saying, like, look, I can convince Taylor to target Brittany next week. No effing way that's not happening. But that's what he is selling to Turner. So eventually Turner's like, all right, you know, I feel better about it if you're saying you can really convince Turner or convince Taylor to target Brittany. So he's saying he's on board with the plan to have Taylor go up, but then Alyssa leaves. And I'm not even sure that Turner would be voting for Alyssa to go because I believe Monty was offering to have it be a split vote. You know, Turner votes to keep Alyssa to make sure that he doesn't lose her jury vote. Brittany would evict Alyssa. And then Monty would break the tie and send Alyssa out. But you know that Turner is going to keep campaigning to keep Alyssa throughout the week. We'll see if anything happens with that. But it was interesting because after that conversation, like, everyone was hanging out together in the HOH room. All of them were up there, all 5. And you could tell they're just nervous AF, and nobody wants anyone to have alone time with Monty and have him be swayed. So then eventually Monty's like, I'm going to go work out. Like, you're all free to hang out up here, but I'm going to go work out. So then, you know, the group breaks up because if Monty's not there, who freaking cares? So some of them go back to sleep. Some of them go to eat, whatever. But they were up early today, so we'll see what happens for the rest of the day. We've got the power veto ceremony coming up. Hello.
Oh, hi.
I think it's still supposed to be on Monday. Thank you.
Welcome.
And it's going to be interesting to see. Will Monty really put Taylor up on the block?
Yes.
You think?
Absolutely.
It seems like he's more with Turner than Taylor
He's
at this
got a good
point.
point. The girls are gonna.
I don't know. But yeah. Let me know your thoughts on all this. It'll be interesting to see if he flip-flops on it at all, or if he's just like, I'm putting Taylor up. I'm curious to see what his conversation with Taylor will be like when he drops this news on her. That's going to be awkward AF, especially after he told Taylor that Turner would be the one going up. So anyway, I want to thank today's super chatters because you guys are amazing. Shane Wright, thank you so much. Banana Farm or Fam? Is it Fam? Banana Fam, thank you so much. Nina Sosa, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Samuel Johnson, thank you so much as always. And Samuel says, I think Monty loses the season. I thought that said loves. I think Monty loses the season this week if he doesn't take Turner out at this point. The HOH at 5 left often makes the wrong move for their game. Yeah, I think it could be a mistake if he doesn't take out Turner.
Really?
Yeah. Because if he does take out Turner, he can get all the credit for the Michael move out of everyone that's left if he makes it to the end. Plus, it does seem that Taylor is more loyal to Monty than she is to Alyssa. So I think Taylor is serious about going to Final 3 with Brittany and Monty.
I think that would be a mistake for Taylor.
Yeah, I don't know. But also, I feel like Monty has to like his chances going up against Brittany, Taylor, and Alyssa in those final competitions, right?
But Turner would be a vote from, to do Monty's.
It is very complicated at this point. It is very complicated. It's very messy.
It's 6 of one, half dozen of another.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happens when you're aligned with, like, everyone. Mm-hmm. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out.
There will be some lines drawn.
Oh, yeah. Right, Bowie? Some feelings are going to get hurt, I think. But
inevitable.
Yeah. So let me know what you guys think about all this. We will be back tomorrow night for an episode recap. And then the next spoiler will be on Monday. And now I got to go because it's almost time for the Cat Cafe. So thank you all so much for being here, especially early. And we'll see you tomorrow for the recap. So until next time, much love. Bye, everybody. Bye. Bye.